and protecting the good and innocent. Tonight he couldn't resist thinking about one of them, the Frenchwoman, Séverine, who he'd met in Kurdistan and had died in Raqqa, and the affection he still felt for her. A special woman, she possessed the best qualities: kindness, intelligence, inner beauty, courage, and a commitment to helping others. Séverine, I miss you. He had failed to protect her. In fact, she'd died 30 meters from where he was fighting, crushed under falling debris from a U.S. drone attack. Nor did he go back to try to rescue her. The circumstances in Raqqa had made that impossible. He was injured himself. ISIS terrorists were on their tail in overwhelming numbers. He was carrying a young hostage he and his men had rescued. But the circumstances didn't serve to assuage his guilt, which twisted in his head. Sweet Séverine, I'm sorry. He said it out loud as he ran, sweat running down his face to his chest, and tried to imagine what she would think of this part of Africa. Then he sensed an almost imperceptible pause in the insect cacophony from the trees beyond the fence. He almost expected to hear Séverine speak to him. Tonight, in this exotic, life-affirming place, everything seemed possible, even communication from beyond the grave. Instead, the silence ended with the distinctive rat-a-tat of an AK-47. Crocker automatically stopped in his tracks and crouched low to the dirt. What the fuck was that? Was the gunfire directed at me? His focus sharpened, and he scanned 360. Trees, a fence, a flagpole with its green and white striped flag, a cluster of barracks, a brick HQ building and canteen, several guard towers. The guards manning the tower ahead waited a half minute before they swung a beam across the tree line, but didn't return fire. Nor did the three boys kneeling outside the fence look up from the lizard they were playing with. Their nonchalance didn't surprise him. Crocker understood that he was in a different country, with people who played by a different set of rules. A strange corner of the planet, where it was hard to distinguish the terrorists from the local militiamen, tribal vigilantes, and armed farmers who patrolled the bush. The shots could have come from any of them. After 2 weeks, he'd seen how locals seemed to take most things in stride, even the savage Islamic radical insurgency, Boko Haram, that operated with impunity throughout northern and eastern Nigeria, where he was now. When no more gunshots came, Crocker swatted away the flying insects, wiped the sweat from his brow, tightened the laces on his Saucony Liberty ISOs, and continued running. Welcome to the jungle. We've got fun and games. Axl Rose could have been singing about Nigeria. Welcome to the jungle. Watch it bring you to your knees. As the local military official who'd greeted him 2 weeks ago at the Lagos airport had put it, Nigeria is an inward-looking country, waiting for God to rescue it from itself. The gulf between rich and poor was staggering, as was the contrast between old traditions in rural parts of the country and modernity in the major cities. Nothing seemed to work, but somehow it did, starting with baggage claim at the airport, where Crocker and his teammates had waited 2 hours for their luggage and were told that was normal. Chaos was the norm, too. Nobody seemed to follow rules, like one of the soldiers the SEALs had come to train, who showed up an hour late wearing flip-flops instead of the combat boots he'd been issued. Crocker had asked, "Where are your boots?" "I lent them to my brother." "Why?" "Because he needed them for work." Crocker and his men were on a 6-week assignment to teach CQD, close-quarter defense, intel gathering, and counter-terrorist tactics to elite AFSF operators. They'd been trained to adjust to circumstances and make the best of all sorts of conditions. Their goal, to coordinate smoothly with members of the 133-man brigade they'd come to train, even though it often moved like a car stuck in rush-hour traffic. Not that the Nigerians weren't polite, respectful, intelligent, and extremely good-natured, always up for a joke, a prank, a good meal.